I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Today, we honor Benny Agosto Jr. as our Houston legend. You're going to learn more about him now, so let's welcome him. Benny, thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Dr. Murillo.
And thank you for being here, and we are so enthused to recognize you as a Houston legend because you truly are for so many reasons. And so congratulations, and again, on behalf of our chamber, our board of directors, our staff, we thank you for the many years that we've had you on this television program, but especially today as our Houston legend.
What a great honor. I'm blessed, and I thank God for the opportunities and the blessings. But I also now am part of Houston.
Yes,
after
you
being
are.
here for 43 years.
Absolutely. We're claiming you, and
Yes.
I know you're Puerto Rican, but you're our Mexican Puerto Rican. And
I say Mex-Rican.
Mex-Rican.
There you
I
go.
like it. I like it. Well, Benny, for folks who don't know, you have an incredible life trajectory. So let's start with that. Your parents. Born in Puerto Rico, both of them?
Yes, my parents are Puerto Rican. They were
Okay.
both born there. And in the generation they're from, they only went to school in 6th grade.
Okay.
So when they turned 12, 13 years old, they both started working. And as it turned out, World War II kicked in. And my dad, when he was 16, he joined the Army, said he was 18, and joined the Army. And eventually they met. They met when they moved to New York City, which is what a lot of Puerto Ricans did after the war. They migrated to New York
To
City.
New York City. So you were raised pretty much in New York then?
No, I was born in New York because that's where they were.
Okay.
But before I started school, we moved to Puerto Rico. So my
Oh.
education completely and my upbringing is in San Juan.
Oh, my
and I was
gosh.
able to enjoy that
Okay.
very much. And then when I turned 18,
Yeah.
I had to decide where I'm going to college. I was a
Yeah.
soccer player. I was on the Puerto Rico national team for soccer.
Yes.
And so I was debating, do I stay in Puerto Rico? Do I go to United States? And a little angel came down and recruited some players and recruited me and 4 other teammates from Puerto Rico to Houston Baptist University because they were revamping their Division I soccer team.
Okay. What position did you play?
I was a goalkeeper.
Okay.
And goalkeepers in the 70s, we were all short.
Okay.
Now you go look at the goalkeepers, they're, 2 meters high. They're 6'5".
You were fast.
I was
Clearly,
fast.
you were fast, very agile. Okay.
Right.
You had all of what it took to do that. So, and you fast forward this, you grew up in a family of how many siblings?
We were 5 siblings.
Okay. Anybody else in Houston?
No, everybody went to Florida. They ended up in Florida and Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Because, people from Puerto Rico used to go to New York.
Yes.
In the more modern years, they go to Florida. They go to Central Florida. And so everybody went to college in Florida or living in Florida. And then I ended up in Texas and never left.
I see. Okay. So you go to law school. Did you think you were going to stay in Houston? Was that your plan at the time?
Well, remember what happens. When you go to college and then you start digging some roots. Then I graduate. Then I go to University of Houston for graduate school. Then I start teaching. And as those roots get deeper and deeper, you get married, you start having children.
Yes.
Then I realized I have to go back to school because I didn't have a doctor's degree and I wanted to go as high as I can go in my life
Yes.
and in my career.
Yes.
After teaching 6 years before law school, I realized I don't want to do microbiology anymore. For some reason, that didn't match my personality. It's a good job for a laboratory person,
Yes.
but for me, I like to be with people, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
it didn't work. So I decided to go back to school, and law school became the option. So when I was 29 years old, I went back to school and started law school here in Houston because now I have children, family. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
I'm from Houston.
Yes.
So I knew to get an education in law, I had to do it here
Yes.
to continue my trajectory.
And looking back, soccer clearly is a very competitive sport, and I've known you for over 15 years now, and you're very competitive, right? But you've made it in so many different ways, yet you are still hungry, and I see it in your eyes and your attitude and your energy. What keeps you motivated and so focused to handle so many different things all at once?
This is a really keen insight into what makes me tick, okay? And it's this. When you come from, humble beginnings,
Yes.
my parents, I wouldn't say we were poor, but, we lived with very little. And then I was the first person to go to college in my family. The first one to go to college, first one to go to graduate school. So I was hungry because I knew I wanted to make my parents proud, but I wanted to accomplish a lot.
Yes.
So that energy is always there. Then when we face the struggles that we face in school and graduate school and in professional school, as a minority lawyer, there weren't many law students that looked like me. So my hunger had to kick in even stronger because I wanted to make it, right?
Yeah.
Then you go start practicing law. Out of 110,000 lawyers in Texas, less than 10% of those are Latino and Latinas. So even with so many hundreds of thousands of lawyers here, there's not many that look like me. And then doing what I do, even less percentage. So I have to stay hungry to stay on the top of my game.
Yes.
So it's just a desire to excel.
Yes.
My parents taught me to work hard, so that is built in. And so if you want to serve your community or serve your clients, you can't do it by sitting back. You have to be able to fight and move forward.
And on that note, you've also spent so much of your life, your career, not only personal time, but you've invested, for example, in establishing at your alma mater a really important diversity center. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, that is a great pleasure for us. Nikki and I both are committed to education. And one of the things, both of us were the first to go to college in our respective families. And so we know how important it is. So we want our children to go to college. We want our cousins and other family members to go to college. So we know education is the key.
Yes.
So we invest back in our community, back in the young boys and girls that want to go to college and maybe don't have those opportunities. And so that's why we started scholarships, endowments at the different schools, not just Houston Baptist, but Thurgood Marshall and TSU and U of H, and we gave money to Rice and to other schools in town because we know that we're helping students accomplish their dreams as we accomplish ours.
Yes.
So that's how we invest in that, in education. And at the law school, the Diversity Center, well, it's opportunity to be able to help the minority students, the women, even the tall white males that are gay or have problems in their life, whatever their situation may be. We want them to have a safe haven that they can come, read, study, think. We call it a think tank, so they can then be prepared when they become lawyers to face whatever the problems are out there. So we teach that.
And it's making a difference. And even in your family now, tell me, how many lawyers are in the family now since you started this trend?
That is true. I think what happens is once you start leading, and leading by example, and God gives us opportunities to be successful, then others are watching, right? So I have two sons that followed my footsteps. They're both lawyers, and they're working at the firm with me. Then I have a nephew and a niece. Again, nobody had a lawyer in my family at all. And now we have 4 lawyers in our family, and more to come. We hear that other folks want to go to law school too. I think they see how we did, and they think it's easy, so they follow our footsteps.
Well, and you know what? They may or may not do it, but certainly they will aspire to other educational opportunities, career paths, because as you said, you've shown and demonstrated it's been done. But you have a particular interest, I believe, in also leaving a legacy for your family, and in large part as also a thank you to your parents. And so you've done that in a lot of different ways, Benny. You are a servant leader. I know that you are very involved in your parish, and you enjoy also speaking at church, right? So you're an orator, which makes you a great lawyer, an expert. So it's all connected. I find like all of your passions, you've found a way to connect them, do well, and do good.
I think what happens is to whom much is given, much is expected, as the Holy Book says. And I take that to heart because I've been given so many blessings and opportunities and good examples from my parents, and then the mentors that I've had. They've taught me that you have to work hard to accomplish your goals. And so by teaching our children with a good example, that we hope helps them in their lives. But then the people that we're mentoring, the community that we're touching by getting involved in different aspects in the community, like the Hispanic Chamber and the emerging leaders, we hope that our efforts will create good examples so that the students that need help are prepared to be leaders themselves. And hopefully it continues to ripple, the ripple effect. So that's very important to us.
And you've set that example, and I'll talk about Giancarlo in a second, but certainly through our relationship, you coming out and speaking to the emerging leaders, getting involved with our board, attending as much as you can, bringing other lawyers to the table. You made a significant investment in our foundation. You and Nicole agreed to support it so that we can continue working with young professionals and make sure that they too have this platform to do well. And thanks to you all made the largest single investment in a chamber foundation in the country, $1 million. and you've absolutely established this anchor investment, because it is an investment in the future of the next generation. So first, thank you for doing it. But also, my question is, why? Why would you do that where there's so many other places that you could invest, and you have, but you said yes to this particular request?
Yeah, it means a lot to us for many reasons, but just to pick a couple of things. I think the example that we show others hopefully rubs off, because we're not just showing examples to our children and our mentees. We want to show examples going up to other investors, to other influential people in our city that also value what the emerging leaders in the Hispanic Chamber is doing. So by showing people that follow us, that's a good example, but also showing others, maybe our peers, that it's worthy investment to invest in the Hispanic Chamber and the emerging leaders, the foundation. I think when we talk about legacy, everybody wants to leave a mark, right? But more than leaving a mark, because I can establish a statue or a building or whatever, right? That's a physical thing. But more deep-rooted mark is when you influence others. And I think that's the goal. Influence your children, influence your family, your siblings, but also influence your community. Mm-hmm. Because this is my community. I live here. Mm-hmm. Houston is my home. My children are all here. Mm-hmm. We want to make a positive impact in the community. And when you establish that kind of legacy, that kind of influence, then you feel that you've done what God wants you to do in this world, which is to serve God first and then help your neighbors. And our neighbors are all of us here in the community.
Well, you've done that, and you absolutely, when your name is mentioned, it's always, oh, he helped me with a scholarship, or they were this and they were there, they established this other. I mean, your bio is like a long list of not only being a member, but a founder of the Mexican American Bar Association. You're going now on your, is it 25th
20
year?
years. 20 years now,
next year.
Next year.
Imagine all of the scholarships that come and gone and all the people you've involved, but then they have gone on to start their own foundations, organizations, law firms, because they've seen you, they've watched you do it. And yet I go back to the point, you could coast now. I think we would agree. If you chose to, you and Nikki could just coast. But I see the sense of urgency. There's still a sense of urgency and a fire that's within you to still do more. If you could say there's just one more thing that you want to accomplish as a professional, is there any specific thing you want to do?
Well, it's hard to say, because every time you reach another goal, you want to go higher.
Yes.
I started at my law firm 30 years ago, and I was the first minority lawyer ever in the oldest plaintiffs firm in history in Texas. So I broke ground there.
Yes.
Now I'm the managing partner. Now I'm the top. And like you said, I can say I've reached my goals, let me go home, or let me go to the lake, let me relax. But we want to do more because there's more to be done.
Yes.
Remember, if the fields are still there to harvest, after I pick today's meal, I can't go home and stop working. I have to keep on harvesting the field. And I think there's plenty of opportunities for us to be influential in our community in a good way.
Yes.
And, time to rest will come another day, as people say. I'm not going to stop yet. I'm going to keep on harvesting and doing what I think is the right thing to do to help our community. And hopefully, we bring other soldiers, other Latinas, Latinos, other members of the community to be locked arm with you, so that you can continue that work even when you decide it's time to rest.
So Giancarlo, he's one of our emerging leaders, and he called me after the lunch and he said, Dr. Murillo, I want to meet with you. Absolutely, come on by. He said, I just need 15 minutes of your time. And I've been coaching him since he completed the Emerging Leaders Program. So he came, he said, this is a very small, investment. He said, but what Mr. Agosto did really touched my heart, and he spoke to me. And I know that I should also, in my own way, give back. And it was a check for $10,000.
Wonderful.
Very significant for someone
wonderful.
his age who went through the program. And it meant so much to him, but he absolutely credited you for igniting, again, this sense of philanthropy, this sense of giving back, which I know is one of your goals in doing this. And I just want to, again, say thank you. We are absolutely working on getting that match so that this chamber and the foundation can continue to grow. But it was so appreciated. And that luncheon this year, 2024, I've been at the chamber 16 years. It was our absolute, I believe, most energetic. People were so excited about your message. Having Nicole, who, isn't the talker in front of folks. She's kind of behind the scenes. But to see the smile on her face and yours, and having our mayor there and so many other people just in line, thanking you guys for the investment. I hope is a great memory.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a great memory.
Yeah.
It was a special day for us as a couple. And also, it's the accomplishment. You feel like you've accomplished something.
Yeah.
But we're working on other projects already.
I know you are.
We're not stopping. So
I know one of the projects is the library. You guys have a very, focused effort. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Nikki was a school teacher when she graduated from U of H.
Mm-hmm.
And then she turned to rearing our children, raising our children. And now she's somewhat free of that because the kids are all gone in college or graduated.
Yeah.
So she's focusing on some more of her own personal philanthropy.
Yes.
She has joined efforts and became the president of the Friends of the Aldine Public Library, which is right here in Houston.
Yes.
And that public library serves the community. There's so many community members that don't have internet, don't have computers, that need a cool place in the summer to sit. Mm-hmm. And so it becomes a community center as well as the public library of the area in Aldine. Mm-hmm. And so she's taken that task for us to raise money, to invest in the library because we see exactly what it's doing. There's a great need and it's serving. So we're doing that, and I'm following her lead this time by raising money and giving money to the public library to help the students and the community because it serves students and also as a community center.
Well, for that and so much more, this Chamber of Commerce would like to congratulate you on being named as our Houston legend. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.